I give you an example. Maybe about a year or two ago, in my family, women in my family, all of them are all older than me. All of them was alive when I was born. They wanted to do something. So they went to the court. They went to the public court, to the court. The court told them that they have to get my permission. The court need to hear from me. I have to put something in writing that they have to take back to the court saying that I'm approving what they're about to do. This happened about a year or two ago. Now, when I found out what they wanted to do, I was like, okay, I don't agree with this part. Part of the things that they want to do is that we have something that's like a family home. It was like a family home, and there was somebody that lives there. They want to kick out. I was like, I don't support that. I don't support you guys kicking that person, kicking those people out. I don't support that. Every other thing that you want to do, I support you. But the part about kicking them out, I don't support you. So I wrote the letter, notarized it, and gave it to them. They took it to the court. Now, I want you to imagine an environment like that. Do you think that that will ever happen in America? These are things that happen in other parts of the world. That's why I told you that many of our women will not go to Africa. They will not go over there or to the Middle East because they love America. America makes you the head. America makes you the leader. The thing is that America is scamming you because you're going to do all that mess and you're going to do it and try to bring it to the Most High. Then you realize that that's not going to fly. The Most High have order. And I feel sorry for any man who don't want to follow that order. And for any woman who don't want to follow that order. I've asked you before, why do you think that woman asked for salvation in John chapter 4? And Yeshua told her to go call her husband. What in the world does a man have to do with her salvation? Listen, everything you've learned from the Europeans are lies. Every impression they've given you is nothing but a lie. These are the reincarnation of Satan on earth. These are the children of Satan. They will psychologically masturbate you, tell you you're strong, you're powerful, you have freedom, you're this, you're that, blah, 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 blah. If the Most High wants you to stand there, they tell you, no, that's wrong to stand over there. No, over here. Come stand over here. If the Most High wants you to sit down, they're like, no, what? Sitting down? Why would you want to sit down? Are you oppressed? No, hell no. No, you're supposed to stand up. You are a woman. You are strong. You are powerful. Blah, 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 blah. And you're smiling. You're happy. And any brother that says, hey, sit over there, you're like, no, you hate women, you hate me. No. And the Most High is watching. He's watching. So we're not going to just approach the Most High the way however we want. There's order. There is order. You saw the book of Jubilees chapter 1. The Most High talked about how we are going to. Did you see that in Jubilees? Chapter 1 that I read? You can read it. The Most High said that we will literally turn everything upside down. We, not the Gentiles. That we will turn it upside down and then follow the Gentiles. That's what we're doing today. That's exactly what we're doing. We know right now, we know as a nation that the things we are doing was not what our ancestors did. But we know this. We still ignore it and follow the Gentiles. So people will try to shame you and try to shut you down. They use certain techniques. But I'm not just trying to play your game by simply claiming that I agree with whatever you call me. No, I'm those things oftentimes is true. When someone says that I am a racist, that's true actually. I am a racist. I will be lying if I say I'm not a racist. I am. So if you say that, why would I not want white people to marry black people? I don't believe in that. That's against the law. We should not be interacting. They should not be allowed to come where we are. We should not be allowed to go where they are. We should not practice what they do. We shouldn't eat like them. We shouldn't worship like them. We shouldn't at all. And when you speak like this, people, you will say that you're a racist. So what am I supposed to do? Deny these things that I believe, that we shouldn't be mingling, marrying, having kids together? They shouldn't be educating us? Am I supposed to be like, no, I'm not a racist? You are calling me a racist because I don't believe that black people should marry white people, that we should integrate. Yeah, I believe those things. So yeah, you're right. I'm a racist. Somebody said, you believe that a woman should stay in the house and just cook and have babies and do whatever her husband tells her, blah, blah, blah. You are right. I believe that. A woman places in the kitchen. Her job is in the house, which is oftentimes more difficult than when she's working outside. I don't want my wife to work for some heathen. I don't want my wife to serve another man. Because as a woman, whether you like it or not, you're going to work for somebody. The question is who? Now, our women have sworn that they will never again work for their men, but they will be more than happy to work for a white man. She will not submit to her own man, but she will submit to a white man. Is that new? No. It's something that happened in the garden. She wouldn't listen to Adam, but she will listen to Satan, and that has continued repeating itself. Like as I said before, if we continue in the same way that Adam and Eve went, we're not going to make it into the kingdom. We will not. We will not. The job of a woman is to serve the man, while the man is serving the Most High. Titus chapter 2. Not Leviticus chapter 2. Not Deuteronomy chapter 2. Not Exodus chapter 2. Titus chapter 2. Look at what a girl is trained to do. Where is she going to do that? In the office? No, her home is her office. Now look at Proverbs 31 and see that in action. The way it tells you to train up a girl in Titus chapter 2. Read Proverbs 31 and see that in action. You see Solomon's mother telling him the kind of a wife he should find. Why did Sarah call her husband her master? Do you call your partner your master? You call your boss your master. So, but again, I'm glad we saw Jubilees chapter 1, because if I tell you that everything is upside down, it will be like, oh, he's just saying it. Look at the book of Jubilees chapter 1. The Messiah said that it was a prophecy. Everything is upside down. So if you dare open your mouth and describe what the job of a man should be and what the job of a woman should be, how dare you say that you hate women? Okay, we shall see. Again, in that case, you're right. I do hate rebellious women who don't want to humble themselves, who think that men and women are equal. Amongst the Hebrew Israelite community, we have a lot of feminists. I used to talk about somebody sent me something about her royal root, probably more than 2 years ago. Somebody sent me a video where she was teaching about biblical marriage, and somebody wanted me to watch it. And of course, she's teaching it upside down, because she's using that to try to tell you how supreme or how powerful women are. And I said, this is a Hebrew Israelite feminist. But I had no idea who she was, but based on her fruit, sitting down wearing jeans while she's teaching the Torah, that's a problem. That is a problem. It was recently, I think it was Sister Nakia that sent me a video. And I watched it. I watched the video from Kai Yeshua Ministry, the other guy and his wife. And I watched the video that you sent me, Sister Nakia. And then now you're able to see where those people came from. These are Christians. Her royal root and her husband, they are Christian pastors, defrauding Christians of their money. She's a feminist. As soon as I saw her, I was like, this woman is a feminist that came into the Hebrew Israelite community, already a feminist, and who is on an agenda to change what she saw in the scriptures. So to her, Bible is oppressive towards women. So she came up with a technique. As of 2-3 years ago, she was a Christian pastor's wife. So if you are intelligent, you should ask yourself, how did she learn Hebrew so fast? Think about that for those of you that know who I'm talking about. There are those that have been in this thing for years. How all of a sudden, this woman, a couple of years ago, she was a Christian wife. All of a sudden, she knows Hebrew to the point that she would sit down and be teaching Hebrew? Really? And her teaching of Hebrew is to tell you, well, that word there is not really what you think. When it says that women should cover their hair, that's not really what it means. When it says that women shouldn't wear pants, that's not really what it means. Actually, in Hebrew, it means this. So that was her technique. Because she knew that if she started teaching the Bible, nobody's going to listen to her. Nobody will listen to her. So she came up with an idea to present herself as someone that knows the Hebrew language, and masquerade herself as someone that knows the Hebrew. So in that way, she will intimidate you. So the only reason that you will listen to her is like, okay, well, I guess she knows what she's talking about. She knows Hebrews. But then you look at her past history. You're like, wait a minute. Wait. Just a few years ago, she was a hardcore Christian. Christians are not known for knowing the Hebrew language. But she's on a mission. She has an agenda. Her agenda is to promote feminism amongst the Hebrew women. Men have their place. Women have their place. When this is recognized and things are applied properly, everything will work out perfectly. We have twisted this thing and turned it upside down, and that's why we suffer. Satan, through the Europeans, have promised you freedom, promised you all these things. At the end of the day, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. You will be a happy person, a happy woman, and a happy man when you stay in your place. There's nothing wrong with the place that the Most High puts you in. Paul said in Romans chapter, or 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 8 and 9. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 8 and 9. I don't want to go into this that much right now, because I don't even want to it's not, whatever you want to do, go do. You want to be a feminist, go ahead. And most feminists don't admit that they're feminists. But that spirit is there, and you must fight it and suppress it. You must fight it and suppress it. And people will say you're stupid, you're a fool, you're this, you're that. Be like, okay, we shall find out. If I'm wrong, let me be wrong. If being humble and being submissive is yeah. They who are free, they who are not oppressed, how is it working out for them? How is it working out for them? Their men are now abandoning them and going to Asia to go get women. Even the European men don't want to deal with European women anymore. Now you have this huge movement sprunking up, coming up in European countries, the MGTOW movement. Their men are abandoning them. So even as a woman, no matter the condition you are in, no matter the situation, in our culture, even women that don't have husband, a man will take care of them, provide for them, protect them, without asking for sex. That's the way it has always been, and that's the way it should be. But a man is not going to provide for or protect a rebellious woman. It turns men off, and men will hate you without even telling you. They will laugh when they see you in your face. Behind you, they think you are. So all those things, the kindness, the godly love, the protection you could get, you're not going to get it, because you're walking around with your head straight, not being humble. So who is losing? Those people are not going to help you. Those people that encourage you to do, they're not going to help you, because they are the children of Satan. They're all about destroying everything. Typically in the Hebrew culture, like I get the example I gave you. Those women going to court and they're being told to go get permission from me. Permission. My mother was one of those women. But these are pretty much women from my family. They wanted to go do something in the court. And the court was like, where is the man that represents you? We need a permission from him. Would you be humble enough to go through that process? That can never happen in America. In America, if that happens to a Hebrew woman, they are going to cause sin in that court. They're going to be so offended. How dare you ask me to go get permission of a man before I can do something in our family house? How dare you ask me to do that? You know, oftentimes I kind of see things and you may not have seen it, so you may not understand until you get there and then you see it. There are things you can see. You can see a video on YouTube of a feminist, those that started that crap in the 70s. She gave an interview. You can go and search a feminist, however you want to search it. But she was regretting because now she's by herself with no children. Now she's admitting that the whole thing was, she was wrong. But go talk to her when she was doing this thing in the 70s. She thought she knew what she was doing. And these younger women who are doing the same thing today think that they know what they're doing. See, there's a way there's a way that seems right to a man, as we know the Bible says. Martin Luther King thought he knew what he was doing, but at the end, he regretted the things. So all that speech, I have a dream, blah, 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 blah. Martin Luther King regretted all that. He regretted it. And it's a disaster when we follow these things. So when it comes to our enemies, who, by the way, is the one we are listening to come up with all these things. And if you have young children, you must teach them. You must teach your young children. Look at what Solomon's mother was telling him in Proverbs 31, the kind of woman that he must marry. And Solomon's mother told him, never give your power to a woman. What do you think that means? Never allow a woman to rule over you. So you better set your girls up to understand these things. Otherwise, there's going to be a power struggle. And I'm going to guarantee you 100 million times that your daughter will lose. Your daughter will lose. The way that this system is set up, the way that the Most High organized this, if you fight this fight that you shouldn't fight, you will lose. It's not a fight that you should fight. There's no fight. Simply accept your place. And there's nothing wrong with that. And actually, it will make men to love you more. It will make men to take care of you. It will make men to provide for you. If they see that you're being humble. I always try to use Hannah as an example when she was praying and Eli walked in and accused her of being drunk. If she had an attitude, Eli would have apologized to her and just walk away. But look at her attitude. She was very humble in the midst of accusation. She was very humble. And what did Eli do? Eli prayed for her. She had a son. And Eli ended up raising that son. very important to be humble. But the society, European society, have trained our women to be wild, to be strong, powerful. So you go about displaying certain kind of attitude, and most men will look at you and smile, and you have no idea what they're thinking in their mind. In their mind, they're thinking, man, she's a bitch. That's what he is thinking. So if there's ever a way he can help you, he's not going to do it. He will not do it. But he will not tell you the truth either. He's not going to tell you that you have a bad attitude, you have this, or you're not. He's not going to tell you that because he doesn't want to offend you. Because he knows that if he tells you this, you're not going to listen. He knows that you will not listen. So if there are ways that he can help you, he's not going to help you. And he will always try to avoid you. He doesn't want to have anything to do with you. This is a reality. So at the end of the day, who loses here? You lose. Certain situation where brother or brothers will jump in and fight for you, help you, protect you, provide for you. They're not going to do it. I don't want some rebellious women around me. That has always been my policy. I will never tolerate a rebellious woman around me. Because a feminist and a rebellious woman is like someone with a cancer. A transferable disease that can easily transfer to other people. The scripture teaches men to avoid rebellious women. Sirach 25, 24 to 26. If she will not go as you direct, separate yourself from her. They're not going to talk about that in the church. But you have to see. They will give you the impression, oh, that this was designed to keep women down. Okay. Yeah, believe that. Believe it. So they're going to give you all kinds of ridiculous reason. Oh, the Bible was written by men. It was designed to keep women down. But they're not going to quote Malachi chapter 2 for you, though. They're not going to quote that for you. They're not going to show you that. Because this same God that hates women so much and wants to keep women down, that is the same one that refused to answer the prayer of the men who oppress their women. So he hates women so bad, but at the same time, so it's confusion. Which one is it? Which one is it? Malachi chapter 2, verse 13. And this you do as well. This is the Most High talking to the people of the men of Israel. And this you do as well. You cover Yahweh's altar with tears, weeping and groaning, because he no longer regards the offering or accepts it with favor at your hand. Verse 14, you ask, why does he not, the Most High, no longer accept the offerings? And it's like, why? What did we do? And he's going to tell you why. Malachi chapter 2:14. And this you do as well. You cover Yahweh's altar with tears and with weeping and groaning, because he no longer regards the offering or accept it with favor at your hand. Verse 14, Malachi 2:14. You ask, why does he not? Now he tells you why. Because Yahweh was a witness between you and the wife of your youth, to whom you have been faithless, though she's your companion and your wife by covenant. Now, take that and read this in multiple translations. What it's basically saying here is that you are oppressing the wife of your youth. So the Most High will block that. The Most High will not hear your prayer. And yet, the Most High hates women, right? Yes, the Bible was written by men who hate women, says the Europeans, who know so much about the Bible, right? Says the Europeans, who have nothing to do with Satan. Says the Europeans, who the Most High does not want to touch the scripture in the first place or teach it. They shouldn't be teaching you the scriptures. But yet, they're giving you the impression that the Bible is anti-women. And you then have people like that Jezebel, her royal root, who is now on a mission to change that. Did you know that the Most High will not answer the prayer of men when they oppress women? And yet that same Most High hate women, right? That brings us to the question of what is oppression of women? What is the oppression of women? Because today, the duties of women, if you talk about them, people will accuse you of hating women. So if it says in Malachi chapter 2:14 that the Most High will stop accepting, or he stopped accepting the offering of the men because they were not treating their women right, so their prayer is blocked. Have you ever seen that in the Bible before? When is the last time you saw that or hear anybody talk about this? That your prayer can be blocked if you are abusing or you're not treating your wife right. When is the last time you saw that? In Malachi chapter 2 verse 14. Did you know that your prayer can be blocked if you don't treat your wife right? And the Most High will not be able to hear your prayer? But they give you the impression that the Most High hate women. And that whoever it is that translated the Bible was anti-women. That women used to be powerful and strong and mighty. Those that translated the Bible watered it down, and now we have to change it. But again, what is it? What exactly is this that you can do that will make the Most High not to hear your prayer if you do this to your wife? What? Because again, a lot of the things that are women's duty, if you are a man and you demand that, that will be considered oppression. So what you can do to your wife that will make the Most High to become angry at you and block your prayer and not hear your prayer, what he can do, what you will do that will cause this to happen. The way that the Most High sees this is not the way that men sees it. So for example, if your wife wants to go walk outside of the house and you say no, that is an oppression in the eyes of the people. To them, you are too controlling. That's an oppression. She has no freedom because you're insisting that she should work in the house, cook in the house, take care of the babies. But to the Most High, that's not so. Because that's the reason why the Most High created women in the first place. That's your duty. That's it. Because when you're carrying out that duty, then it allows the man to be able to carry his own duty effectively. When Adam, after working for the Most High, comes back home and have to worry about the food, worry about stuff, that's the time that he could be using to sleep. So he can wake up early in the morning and head back out and work for the Most High. That's why the Most High created a helpmate for him to take care of those things. All those domestic stuff, as you see in Titus chapter 2. As you see in Proverbs 31. Your duty, your goal as a woman is to serve the man while he is serving the Most High. I know that that is so itching to the ear. That is so uncomfortable. Each time I say that, for some of you, it may look like I'm punching you in your heart, on your stomach. You know, in the Christian churches in Africa, they talk about deliverance. If you watch like Nigerian movies, you see them delivering people. You might need a deliverance to deliver you from the bondage of the Europeans in your head. If hearing that the job of a woman is to serve the man, and that is like, I know it might feel like a punch. You know, it's really sad. I really feel kind of bad because knowing how the Most High is going to address this, oh my goodness, this is not going to be funny. And I keep referring you back to John chapter 4, when she asked for salvation. The Europeans have taught us wrong. We have to at least acknowledge that. And then try to find out the way that things are supposed to be, both for men and for women. And do it that way. Accept it. Get used to it. As we do this, people are going to look down on us. People are going to say we're crazy. People will say you've lost your mind. That's okay. It's okay for them to say those things. And if they're not saying those things, then you're not doing it right. As soon as they start saying those things, then you're doing it right. So, what you have today, could you look at the modern day family? The man is working. The woman is working. How do you go to work and work for 8 hours? Your wife goes to work and work for 8 hours. You still expect her to come back and cook? What is she? A donkey? No. She's not going to be able to do it. She's tired. So oftentimes, she's coming back with fried chicken, with pizza. I saw people yesterday, just last night. This woman is going home from work. She had 2 boxes of pizza. I think I saw like a soda too, if I remember correctly. So that's the dinner. Oh my goodness. This pizza with high fructose corn syrup in the bread, that's the dinner. She was getting off from work around like 7 something, 8 something or something like that. About 8 something. Do you see what Satan is doing? Do you see? So people are living, the man is working, the woman is working. The whole family is suffering because the woman is not there to cook real food. She's not there to cook real food. Their absence in their children's life. So what do? We take our children. Oh my goodness. Can you see the scam? I know I'm crazy. I know I've lost my mind. I know I'm not going to argue with you. But can you please see the scam? They get the man working and they get the woman working too. So who's going to take care of the kids? So you end up sending your precious kids to them. Oh my goodness. You see these kids at a young age, they're walking around with glasses. It's because of what they were eating. What goes into your mouth affects your whole body. These kids are being bombarded with chemicals at a very young age. It's affecting every part of their body. So they begin to have eyes problem, this problem, that problem. This could be avoided if the woman stayed home and cooked and worked in the house. Like I always say, listen, as a woman, you will always work. The question is, who are you going to work for? As a woman, you must serve a man. The question is, who are you going to serve? Somebody called me the other day and was like, there's a guy who was holding a sign in front of a restaurant or a fast food store, and you said that a woman is supposed to stay home and have babies and take care of and be there in the house. So if her husband is this man who is doing this stuff in front of the store, how is he gonna be able to take care of his family? So the question that is coming from this feminist who will deny, that's typically what feminists do. You hardly see a feminist that will agree that she's a feminist. Most feminists will never admit that they're feminists. They will never. I like to watch sovereign citizens. People who believe that they are sovereign citizens. They are full-fledged sovereign citizens. And they use all the talking point of sovereign citizens. But they will never admit that they're sovereign citizens. If you watch them, when they are fighting with the police, whenever they are fighting and whenever they are arguing with the police, and the police will say, "Are you a sovereign citizen?" They will be like, "No, I'm not a sovereign citizen." They never agree that they're sovereign citizens. They never agree. But you hear them using the same language that so that's the same thing with feminists. Most women will get offended if you call them a feminist. But they sit right there and be using the same talking point. I tell young men, or I'm telling young men, beware of any woman that accuses you. She wants to do something and you say no, and she accuses you of being oppressive. Any woman that keeps accusing you of oppressing women, and oftentimes these are people like you're being nice to. You're being polite and everything, and any girl that, for those who are young, okay, any woman that keeps accusing you of being oppressive, because you don't believe that women should go walk outside of the house, so therefore you are this, you're oppressive, that's a red flag. Run. If you don't run, you will look back and be like, I thought he was joking. Run. That's a red flag. So if you don't do what she says, then you hate women. You are oppressive. You are anti-women. Those are feminist talking point. Any woman who is using those kind of talking points, she's a feminist. But she will, if you accuse her of being a feminist, she'll get upset. But she speaks just like them. What do they say? If he walks like a dog, quacks like a dog, I'm sure it's not going to be a pigeon. These things have consequences. Because I'm telling you, there will be moments that you will need a man. And I'm not talking about sex. One time, many years ago, before I even began to take the law seriously, there was this woman who wanted her son to follow me, or her son wanted me to mentor her son. She was divorced, no man in the house, but she realized that she cannot raise her son by herself. And I'm not sure if I understood at that very time why she was doing this very well. But she was smart enough to realize that she could not raise a son by herself. Just like a man should be smart enough to realize that you cannot raise a girl by yourself. Your daughter, you need to have a mother figure in her life. So if you happen to live with a girl, your daughter, and the mother is not there, you need to find a mother figure for that girl. Your daughter, you cannot raise a girl by yourself. There will be a dysfunction. The Most High was not playing when he made it that it will be a man and a woman that they play. So, if that woman has certain kind of attitude, will I agree to help her with her son? One time, some woman told me, "Can you please follow me to the mechanic? Can you follow me to the auto shop, to the mechanic shop?" And I was like, "Why?" And she was like, "I just need you to be there." She just wanted to have man present while she take her car to the store. So it turns out they've been ripping her off. They have been ripping her off. So when she kind of figured it out, all she wanted there is just to have a male present, because that will scare them away. That will make them to not rip her off. So I followed her to the shop and help her with negotiation. But these men were able to do these things to her with no fear. What is she gonna do? So she will take her car there. They are ripping her off, and she figured it out. And she realized, they're doing this to me because they're looking down on me. They're like, I'm a woman. So I did follow her to that shop. I had a story. A lady was once trying to buy a car on the internet. She found a car. I just want to let you know what you can lose, the danger of doing this. She found a car online. She called the phone number. They spoke to her. They were talking. Everything was fine. She's supposed to go see the car. Then she spoke to them again on the phone. When they found out that she was going over there, I think it was with her brother or with her father, they hung up the phone. As soon as she said that she's coming with someone, with a man, click, they hung up the phone. So they were going to allow her to come see the car and buy the car by herself. But as soon as the person on the other line heard that she's coming with a man, they hung up the phone. So why do you think they did that? So if you believe that you don't need a man and you're powerful, you believe all the lies of the Europeans, good. Keep believing. That makes it easier for his son to keep taking advantage of you. So these things do have very, very bad consequences. Horrible consequences. And there are times where people will want to jump in and fight for you, but they will just be quiet. You're strong, right? Go take care of it. Go handle it. Go and handle it. And oftentimes, men are scared off by another man, because a man will respect a man more than they will respect you. That's a fact. That's a fact. Men will respect other men more than they will respect you. Because men, they are considering certain things when they're dealing with other men. If a man is angry at you, if a man is angry and he wants to attack you, but then he looks and sees a man who is with you, that man is going to think twice. Because that man knows that if he lays hands on you, the other man, if he's a real man, will not allow that to happen. So a woman cannot be by herself. And again, I have to be very careful in what I'm saying. I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about in general terms. In general. Oftentimes, our sisters are vulnerable because you've listened to Satan, and you've listened to Satan and you adopted certain things, certain behaviors, way of talking, way of presenting yourself. You do certain things, not realizing that these things will put barrier, not realizing that these things turn men off. It turns men away. It turns men off. I am not talking about anything romantic. I'm talking about social issues. Social issues. If I'm mad at you right now and I want to attack you, let's say I talk to you on the phone and I'm so angry and so mad at you, and I'm coming to your house. I come into the house and I see this man sitting there in the living room. I'm going to think twice. I am going to think twice, because now I know that in order to get to you, I'm going to have to go past him. I'm going to have to go past him, and it may not be that easy. By the time I'm going to be done passing through him, I may end up being exhausted. You need a man. Satan lied to you. When they tell you you're all powerful, you're queen, you're this, you're that, he lied to you through the Europeans. Even they are no longer dealing with their women. A lot of them are going to Asia. You're going to be seeing a lot of them with Asian women. Why are the European women going to Asia? Because they believe that the Asian women are more submissive. That's why. They get tired of dealing with their women, they go and marry an Asian woman. That's what the Europeans are doing. They know that the Asian woman will stay in the house and cook and clean. See, the world is going to get more and more dangerous. And you can't navigate by yourself. You're just going to end up being vulnerable. When you do put up certain kind of behaviors, and when you have certain kind of attitude and certain kind of beliefs, the worst part of it is that all of this behavior, attitude, beliefs, these are all invalid because they're all based on lies. Sometimes you're at the gas station. You see a woman that will be walking around and looking for a man to open her gas pump or something. Oh, I thought we're equal. I thought you're strong and powerful. Why would you need a man to help you open your gas tank or help you do this or that? So the women that understood this will be fine and okay. The women who are foolish will not understand it, and you're going to end up suffering. Like as I said, you see, most men are not going to talk. Most men will not talk because they are scared of being accused of hating women, which I'm not scared of. You can accuse me all you want. They're scared of being accused of different things. So they will just keep their mouth shut. But when they're by themselves, they discuss stuff like this. He is not going to talk to you in your face. But when he's with his friends, he talks about how of a bitch you are. How a feminist you are. They're not going to tell you in your face. If there are circumstances where they can help you, they will not help you. Because in their mind, you're this, you're that. You've presented yourself that you don't need anybody. That's the impression that has been given to our sisters today. You don't need anybody. You don't need a man. And that impression is so costly. It costs you without you even realizing it. It costs you. You pay a price. You pay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go into a little bit details to give you something that actually happened. There was a sister that I was helping. I had one requirement, and I kept saying, I will not deal with a rebellious woman. I will not deal with a rebellious woman. I guess she thought it was a joke. I guess she didn't take me seriously. I want to make sure I tell this story like correctly without, I don't mind helping financially. I don't mind helping in any way I can. I don't mind. All I'm requiring is that you be submissive. I'm not asking for sex. I'm not asking for money. And this is the attitude of most men who wants to be righteous. All they're asking is that you submit yourself to the Most High. Submit to His laws. Be submissive. So I kept saying this. I guess this person thought I was joking. In the process of helping them, I know what I went through. One time, I was trying to help them buy a phone. A phone. I ran into a phone store just to ask a quick question to the phone guy. By the time I came out, there was a parking enforcement behind me. I got a parking ticket for more than $350. I paid that. More than $350. The reason why I went to that store was because I was going to go to help this person buy a phone. Parking where I parked was my responsibility. And I take full responsibility. I shouldn't have parked there. I parked there, ran into the store to ask a question, not to go shop for a phone. I think I had gone to a phone store and they directed me to another store, one of their stores or something, just to ask a quick question because I was trying to help this person buy a phone. Out of my own fault, I got that parking ticket. But what led me to that store was I was helping this person. I know what I went through. I know how much money I lost. Sometimes I had to lose money on my business in the process of trying to help them. And I was willing to do all this. All I'm asking is be submissive. The very first time I met this person, I gave them a pepper spray. I bought a pepper spray and I gave them one for protection. This is not my wife. This person is not my wife. I'm only trying to help them because they claim that they want to keep the law. I gave them a pepper spray. So even when I'm not there to protect you, at least use this to protect yourself as much as you can. I was from the bottom. I was trying to help them or help this person. And what they proved to me was that, unfortunately, most of our sisters in America, majority will not make it when it comes to this particular issue. Majority will not agree to let go of that ego, that pride. Because I really tried. I kept giving this person a chance. Kept giving them a chance. And I kept telling them, I will not deal with a rebellious woman. You know why? If I tolerate a rebellious woman, I'm heading to hell. What did Adam say to the Most High say to Adam? Because you listen to your wife. If you tolerate a woman that will not be submissive, that's a sin right there. That's pretty much going against the will of the Most High. And I will not allow anybody to bring me down like that. Any woman that will want to deal with you or you're going to be dealing with, and there will be power struggle and fight and power struggle and all that stuff, go away. Stay away from them. If she will not let you rule over her, let her go. She has plenty of options and you have plenty of options. So when this person was about to get a car, they didn't have enough money. I'm using an actual story to show you what you can lose if you keep believing the lies of Satan. This person is, I'm not, typically when men do something for you, they want sex. That's what they want. They want something in return. I was trying to help this person. And all I'm asking is, I will not deal with a rebellious woman. That's it. I'm not asking her for sex. I'm not asking her for money. I will help you with from the bottom of my heart. All I ask is that you be submissive. A wise, intelligent woman, that's nothing to her. A proud, arrogant, egotistical woman, that's a problem. A typical American woman, that is a problem. They will rather lose whatever you can do for them just so they can maintain their ego. The ego of the idea that you're telling her what to do. I'm not going to let you tell me what to do. And what if I tell you what to do? Are you going to lose one of your breasts or something? Are you going to be less of a woman? I tell men what to do. And men typically don't have problem about this. Men typically don't have problem. You see how stuff has been turned upside down? It used to be that men have ego. And you would think that men will be struggling when another man tells them what to do. You would think that men will have issue. I'm not going to let you tell me what to do. I'm a man like you. But oftentimes, men are submissive, more submissive than women. In this particular area, things has been flipped upside down. In this particular area, things have been turned upside down. So now men don't have ego. Like men are spineless, weak. Men are very weak. It's disgusting. And you must man up if you want to make it into the kingdom. You're not going to make it into the kingdom behaving like Adam. Adam was weak. Adam was weak. And that the Most High did not like that. That was the problem. The Most High did not like that. Adam was weak. When he was supposed to be leading, he was sitting there listening to her teach him about the law that he had taught her. I will throw your behind so fast. I'm going to throw you out, and I'm going to tell the Most High, you know what? Thanks for creating her for me. I'm just going to be by myself. Maybe she should go live with Satan. So since she's not going to listen to me, but she's quick to listen to Satan, and she has the nerves to convince me to do what Satan told her. No, she needs to go stay with Satan. Thanks, yeah. You tried. But she chose to be with Satan. If Adam had that attitude, we're not going to be here today. Things will be different. Okay, so again, when she was trying to get a car, cars there are different types of cars. She didn't have enough money to get a car. This is a true story. She did not have enough money to get a car. She had about maybe less than, maybe like around, she didn't have enough. And I'm like, I don't want her to get an old car because I know the problems of old cars. Old cars will drive you crazy. Sometimes you go to the store, you come out, and you won't start. Sometimes you go somewhere, and you're about to go home and you're so tired and exhausted, your car will not start. Sometimes you're about to go somewhere very important, your car will not start. Sometimes you're going home, your car will stop you on the headache. A old car will drive you crazy. Old car will make you get old much faster. Like literally, like old cars will drive you crazy because they're old. I didn't want her to go through that stress. I was looking for a fairly used car. So I had to take my own money and put into the money that she has. She didn't ask me to do this. See, that's what happens when a man is providing and protecting you, looking out for you. And what did I ask in return? submission. Don't give me sex. Don't give me money. All I ask, submission. Be submissive. When I tell you to do something, do it. And everything I'm going to ask you to do will be according to the law. Because sometimes a crazy idea will come into your head and I will tell you, no, that's not a good idea. I don't want you to sit there and be arguing. I may tell you something that may not make sense to you at that time. This has happened where I will tell somebody, no, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. In your mind, you think I'm just trying to control you. I'm just trying to boss you. Do I know you? Don't do it. It may not make sense at that time, but later on you find out the reason why I'm telling you not to do it. So the last thing I want is, whatever I'm going to be doing, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to protect you. So there may be something that may seem right to you, but there are certain things that you don't know that I may know, and I'm telling you, no, that's not a good idea. I don't want you to sit there and be arguing, because I may be like, okay, sure, go ahead. Go ahead. And then you go ahead, and then later on you realize, wow, I should have listened. I hate arguing with women. I hate that, because I know where that spirit is coming from. Because that's not how a righteous woman will handle a situation. That is not how a righteous woman will handle a situation. You know what? A righteous woman will handle a situation like Hannah and Eli when she was praying. A righteous woman will handle a situation like Sarah. Go read the book of Esther. Go read the book of Esther. Look the way she was acting towards the king. That was the opposite of Vashti. Look at what's her name? Ruth. Towards the man that ended up marrying her. Look at these women. And that's what you have to learn. That's something that you have to learn. Everything I'm telling you is for your own good. As I'm doing this, it's being recorded. So I really don't know majority of the people that will watch this. I have no idea who you are. But this is for your own good. I'm trying to get you to understand that there are there are consequences behind these things when you start behaving certain way because of your understanding, the European understanding that you have. When you don't acknowledge who you are, when you begin to take on this spirit, and when you begin to act, you're powerful, you're strong, you're this, you're not being submissive, it has consequences. And it's so unnecessary for you to have to go through things that you don't have to go through, for you to have to fight certain fights that brothers may help you to fight, to wage certain battles that brothers may help you to wage, but they won't help you because you're strong and powerful, says the Europeans. Who's going to help a strong woman? No, she's strong. She doesn't need any man to help her. Okay, so I took some money. Out of my own accord, my own will. I knew that she need a car that will not be breaking down. I knew that. I don't want her to have a car that will be breaking down. She didn't have enough money. I kept looking, spending my time to look for a car. When I found the car, I had to go see the car, test drive the car, then use some of my own money to put in the money that she has to help her buy the car. She did not have to spend that time looking for the car. I did it. She didn't have to go test drive the car. I did it. She didn't run the risk of buying the wrong car. A car that may look good, but the engine is messed up. I test drive that car. I kind of know about cars. I've had my way with cars. I've been with few cars. So went through all that. And to the best of my knowledge, I never really, as much as I knew, she didn't have problem with that car. So that's another risk. When you're buying a car, people will take advantage of you because you're a woman. They assume that you don't know much about cars because typically women don't know much about cars. All of that has to be taken care of. I took care of all of those. She didn't have to worry about looking for a car. She didn't have to worry about going to check it out, test drive it, which I did all of that. This is not my wife. This is not my relative. The only reason why I'm doing this for this person is because of the law, because they claim that they want to keep the law. Will I be doing this for a man? No, I know that typically a man is a man. He can fend for himself. I still help men to do it, just like I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Somebody had told me that they needed a car. I spent time, I looked, I found it, I took them, listened to it, and everything. So by tomorrow, they may end up buying the van. But typically women don't know much about this. And as a woman, you want to have someone to help you with these things. And I guarantee you that's not going to happen when you have a bad attitude, when you're being rebellious, when you're not being humble. Any man who is going to be around you will be around you for one thing: sex or maybe money. And when they are done, they will just leave. When they are done getting any of those, they will just leave. This is the truth. It might be painful, but it's the truth and will save you. But you know the interesting thing and how bad this is? Some people will hear this and still be angry and be like, man, he hates women. To some people, everything I'm saying right now is against women. I'm speaking against women. That's how bad things are. Some people will still see this as that I'm speaking against women. Just the and you know, I want to have the attitude of Yeshua, like you see in Deuteronomy. I'm sorry, Revelation 22. Revelation 22. Hey, you want to break the law? Go ahead. But you're still going to face the consequences at the end. See, those who are wise will see this for what it is. This is to help you. But I'm not going to spend 1 second convincing you that it's to see. If you see this as an attack on women, good. That's good. And keep going. Yeah, keep doing whatever you're doing. Keep thinking the way you're thinking. Things are really, really bad. Very bad. And I think that in the kingdom, based on the scriptures, based on the Most High, the way that He has put things together and everything, I think you're going to see a lot more of the ancient women in the kingdom. A lot more. You're going to see a lot of Middle Eastern women in the kingdom and ancient women. You're going to see very few of modern women. Very few. Very, very few. Because No woman that goes against what the Messiah put in place will make it into the kingdom. And it goes in different ways. Different ways. Like, if you have any problem with anything that the Messiah put in place, you're not going to make it. Just same thing with men. Just like us, men. Simply being weak, spineless, letting a woman control you will cost you your salvation. Because you're simply being like Adam. So this is a very, very, very serious issue. Extremely serious issue. Very bad. So this person did not have to worry about, I looked for the car, found the car, took my money, and I said to her, look, I'm going to give you this money. That particular car that I saw is better. We can find a car for the price that you have. The problem is that that car is going to be an older car. So this car is a little bit more expensive. Here is money. I gave her about maybe like $400 or something. About $400 or something. The car was about 2,000 something. And it was from a family that they're selling it because I think they were expecting a child. Yeah, she was pregnant. When I went to see the car, that lady was pregnant. So I think they bought an SUV because now they're gonna have a bigger family. So they wanted to sell the smaller car. And the car was fine. It was just fine. It was fine. Perfect. So I said, I'm going to give you money to put in what you have so you can get a better car, because I don't want her to go through the stress of having that car break down. Because you may pay less for a car, but when you count all the stress, the pain, all the stuff you have to go through to deal with an older car, it's just it's not worth it. It's too expensive. I didn't want her to go through all that. So these are the things that I had to do. These are all the stuff I had to do. If you put it together in monetary value as money, I know how much. I don't know exactly how much, but wasting my time, spending my time to go look for stuff, do stuff and help out with stuff, that's time, that's money. And at the end of the day, it's still the same thing. This person did not get it. Now, if I was dealing with a Middle Eastern woman, there will not be any problem. If I was dealing with an African woman, there will not be an issue. Because this person will always figure out a way to argue with me. When I tell her something, she will always argue. She will always argue. She wants to argue. She wants to interrupt me when I'm talking. She wants to, it's just foolish. It's foolish. So that American mentality is stuck in her head, she has the attitude that I cannot let a man tell me what to do. It's right there. It's a toxic mentality that will get you nowhere. See, I shared a video with you a while ago. That woman, that was the video I shared with you. The woman that was arguing with the cop, and then she drove away, and then those devils began to shoot into her van. That is an American mentality right there. All she could have done is to sign that thing. Take the ticket. Go to court. Be humble. Be submissive. You're not going to die. You're not going to lose one of your breasts. And there's a very good chance that that judge will dismiss the case. If you show up in a court and you have your attitude, your typical American feminist attitude, that so-called judge, your enemy, will listen to your case and they will make you pay that money. If you show up there submissive, I told you something that happened. See, there was one time I was driving and I basically, something happened and it was my fault based on their laws. And this so-called police officer pulled me over. And when I stopped, I turned off the car. And then he came to the window. He realized that I turned off the car. I was very polite, now I'm talking about my enemy, a devil, a son of Satan pulled me over. Hopefully you can learn something from this. A devil, a seed of Satan. Now, knowing what I know about them, you would expect me to start calling him Satan in his face. He has no idea what I'm talking about because he is spiritually dead. He doesn't get it. Those so-called white people that you see who acknowledge who we are, those who are kind of semi-spiritually awake. That's why they're able to hear it, see it, and know that it's true. And sometimes may go ahead to make a video admitting who we are. They are semi-spiritually awake. Majority of them have no idea what you're talking about. So if you're calling him devil in his face, he doesn't know what you're saying. He'll think you're crazy. Majority of our people have no idea who we are. What makes you think that our enemies will know who they are? Majority of our people have no idea who we are because they're spiritually sleeping. So he pulled me over. I turned off the car. I was polite. And I gave him my information. He wrote a ticket. And then he said, before that, he said, thank you. I think he said before that, thank you for turning off the car. And then he said to me something that he didn't have to say. He said, because you were polite, because you were courtesy, you were polite, I'm going to make this a no point ticket. Just take this, go to court. I will tell the judge. He was telling me that he is going to come to court and that he will tell the judge to make sure that I don't get any points in my license. That's what he said. I was like, okay. I took the ticket. Now, on the court day, he never showed up. He did not show up. The ticket was dismissed because he didn't show up. Now, I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor for that. The Most High is the one that made it possible because the Most High said that he will make our enemies to turn their backs on us. That he, if we keep the commandment, that he will make our enemies to turn their backs on us. So it was the Most High that made him not to show up in the court. So not only did I not get the point, I did not pay over $200 in fine. I didn't pay over $200 in fine. The ticket was dismissed because the cop did not show up. Now imagine the opposite. Now I could have had an attitude. Who the hell does he think he is? He can't tell me what to do. I'm a man. Imagine if I had that attitude. he would have written that ticket, and he would try to look around in the car and find out other things that he will add into that ticket, other things that he will say that I did. And on the court date, he will remember. They will send him a letter. He's not going to ignore that letter. He will get ready and he will come and he will make sure that I pay every single fine. Wisdom. 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 They don't sell it in the market. They don't teach it in the school. Wisdom only comes by keeping the law. Psalm 111, at the end of Psalm 111. Wisdom only comes by keeping the law. Wisdom is not taught in school. Wisdom is not sold in the market. Wisdom does not come by old age. Wisdom comes only by keeping the law. You have to use wisdom. Look at what happened to Vashti in the book of Esther. Just look at that whole mess. So when I talk about women's ego, typically when we talk about ego, you think of men. Look at that. What exactly was the big deal in you going to answer your husband, the king, when he called you? What's the big deal? Why not just get up and go and answer him? Go find out why he's calling you. But Vashti said, no, I'm not going. This is how she lost her throne. And Esther came in. Was that worth it? Being able to have your little ego that you've rebelled against your husband, is that worth it? See, I talk about in the past we've done something, and I think it's on YouTube. The danger of marrying a righteous man. If you're not a righteous woman, it could be very dangerous, because a righteous man is not going to put up with your rebellion and all that crap, because a righteous man knows what the scripture says about men and women relationship, and he's not going to put up with that. A righteous man will never tolerate a woman that will try to control him. A righteous man will never tolerate a man. A righteous man will never tolerate a woman that will not submit and be humble. It's not going to happen. He knows the consequences. And he knows that the Most High is watching him. And he wouldn't want to be like Adam. So I kind of feel sorry for young Hebrew Israelite girls who are not being taught properly, because righteous man, righteous man, righteous man, righteous man, everybody wants to have a righteous man, right? You want a righteous man to marry your daughter. What you need to realize is that you better train your daughter to be a righteous woman. You better train her right. You better tell her that the Europeans are wrong. You better tell her that she needs a man. You better tell her that her husband is now her Lord, her master. You better tell her that it's her responsibility to serve her husband. You better tell her what the Most High said in the book of Numbers, that while she's in your house, she's under your authority. Now that she's in her husband's house, she's under her husband's authority. You better tell her these things, because if you don't, that righteous son-in-law will eventually lose whatever feeling that he had for your daughter, and he may not put her away. He may not divorce her, because the law does not permit him to. But at the same time, he may also go and marry someone else. So now your daughter will have a rival. And all this will happen because you didn't teach her properly. See, when you teach her properly, she will be basically like Sarah. Did you notice that Abraham was not in a hurry to go marry another wife? Why will he be in a hurry? It's hard finding a righteous woman. A man who understands that when he finds a wife and the woman is, oh, how you win the heart of a man is what Esther was doing. Now, you may read the book of Esther and think that she was foolish. She was dumb. You may get that idea. You know, the way she was like humbling herself, asking the king, may I speak? If I may speak. And you're like, oh, what is that? Why will she be asking the king, can I speak? But she won the heart of the king by behaving like that. Because the king just dealt with Vashti. And he knew how process that he had to go through to find Esther. So to see Esther behaving like that, that wins his heart. That's how you win the heart of a man. By humbling yourself, being submissive. And a man will do whatever it takes to take care of you, to help you. Now, what the Europeans have told you through their school system, through their movies, their TV, their billboard, that impression they've given you, that's what makes a man to hate you. And like as I said, majority of the men are not going to talk about this. Majority of men will not talk about this. Okay, sometime in the future, Yah's willing, I'm going to put something together where we're going to have a program where you're going to be hearing, people are going to be able to be free to talk. And that's meant to be educational, and you're going to be hearing certain things. So people are not going to tell you. They're just going to hate you, but they won't tell you. They don't want to deal with you. They don't want to have anything to do with you because they think you're a feminist, but they won't deal with you. And you see this playing out right now with the Europeans. They're abandoning their wives, and they're abandoning their women, and they're going into to go marry Asian women. And that's the danger. So these women are stuck with their cats and their dogs. Grumpy, miserable. So these are things that there are consequences. There are consequences, and I really fear for younger women, younger girls, who these things are not being taught. And see, a lawless man might be able to stay and stick around. When you're dealing with a man who doesn't keep the law and you're behaving a certain way, he might stay and stick around with you. A lawless man is not going to do it because a lawless man is scared. A lawless man knows that he's not supposed to be weak. A lawless man knows that he's not supposed to allow you to rule over him. That will be a problem because Adam did it, and that was a problem because that goes against Genesis 3:16. So when a man that keeps the law, when a man who is keeping the law, they're scared. They don't want to deal with a woman who is rebellious. They don't want to do that. And that's a problem. So you may end up finding a man who doesn't keep the law to marry your child, but then you have to consider the consequences of doing that too. All the other things that can happen, because you can't really trust them. So each time I do this, I realize there was a time I realized that, sometimes it's kind of vague to understand. So I'm going to close this right now. And I will always be open for those who want to talk privately, who want to learn, who want to do whatever. I will be more than happy to help you. Like as I said in the past, I do hate women, but I hate rebellious women. I love submissive women, humble women who first of all submit themselves to the Most High by keeping His laws. That's it. That's the number one. I love women like that, and I will do whatever I can to help them. Like the example that I gave you, I will do whatever I can to help them. I will not have food and see a woman like that hungry, and I will sit and eat. No. But if you're a rebellious woman, no, starve to death. You are strong and powerful. Go get your own food and get away from me. You can go and see this in the book of Ruth. Only 4 chapters, right? Go read it. Look at her attitude and see how that man, because of her behavior, that man was providing for them. He wasn't having sex with Ruth before he began to provide for them. He was providing for her and her mother-in-law. That's what I'm talking about. If Ruth had a horrible attitude, a typical American attitude, American woman's attitude, that will not happen. They came back into Jerusalem, and she went to go walk during the harvest. Look at her behavior. That got that man's attention, and he will give them food. He was providing for them. Read the book of Ruth very well. If you mess with Ruth, you're messing with him. You mess with Naomi, you're messing with him. He wasn't having sex with Naomi or Ruth, but he will fight and protect them. You touch them, you're touching him. He was providing them with food, but it was their attitude. So I just want to be specific for those that care, for those that do care. The question is, okay, what exactly is it that women are doing wrong, if you want to say that? Let me just say, like, what is it that I don't have to do? Okay, somebody may ask, what is it that I don't have to do? I want to do the right thing. I want to do the right thing, but I don't know what to do. What is that? Let me tell you something. See, avoid arguing with men. Just me saying this, for some women, they hate this, what I just said. What? So you're saying that I can't argue with him? You're saying that I'm going to sit there and let him talk to me anyhow? Oh my goodness. Avoid arguing with men. Avoid arguing with a man. It doesn't mean that you're stupid. It doesn't mean that you're dumb. It doesn't mean that you don't have power. But when you think about it, if you have to stand and argue with anybody, man or woman, that's not a very good time to make your case. That is not a very good time to make your point. Because at the time that somebody is about to argue with you or is arguing with you, they don't want to lose. You don't want to lose. So they don't want to lose, and you don't want to lose either. That's a horrible time to make your case. Have you ever had an experience, for those of you who are older, I'm sure you may have had this experience, where somebody will do something to you, either they caught in front of you, either they did something, and they were expecting you to say something, and you don't say something, and then they come back and apologize. This happens a lot. I don't know if it happened to you, But there are circumstances where someone will do something and then they come back to you and say, you know what? I'm sorry. You were right. I apologize. This happens a lot. It happens a lot. Now, imagine if you had responded when they did that thing. Do you think they will come back and apologize? Of course not. They will not. So, it looks really bad and you may not see it, but I'm speaking from a man's perspective. It looks really bad if you have to stand or sit or on the phone or however, and you are arguing with a man, no matter the situation. Once he starts arguing, shh, just be quiet. Okay? Find another time to bring up the point and make your point. But as soon as you sit there and you start going back and forth and start arguing and you start interrupting each other, it makes you look bad. Now, back in the day, that man may tell you in your face, whatever. But in the time that we're living in, men are so scared, men are so spineless, they won't say anything. They will agree with you. But in the back of her mind, I'm going to tell you exactly what he's thinking. He's thinking, man, she's such a bitch. He's not going to say it out loud. So he will just agree with you. He will go ahead and agree with you. But in his mind, he's hating you. And in your mind, you've won. You're right. You're thinking that because he kept quiet, he agreed with you. No, he just doesn't want to sit there and argue with you. He doesn't want to do it. So he will agree with you and be quiet. But there are other circumstances. Now you've created a bad taste that you may not even realize. It doesn't look good. Don't do it. Don't do it. People will not know what you're thinking until you begin to talk. So that's the major part. Having dealt with different women, that's one of the things I've seen. Never ever stand there and be arguing with a man, even when you are right. Even if you're right and he's wrong. Once that issue comes up, be quiet. Okay? Don't say anything. Now, wait for another time. Maybe tomorrow, maybe whatever, whenever, call him or something and make your point. Oftentimes, he's not going to be arguing. But at that time that he is in the mood to argue, if you start arguing because you are right, you could be right and he could be wrong. He's not going to let you win. So what ends up happening most of the time is that he is saying that he's right, you're saying that you're right, you start arguing. Oftentimes, that argument will end. You have all these animosities in your heart towards him. He has the same thing in his heart towards you. That case or issue was not resolved properly. It makes you look really, really bad. And in a real world, you are going to need someone, especially as a woman. In a real world, you need someone. So just because you submit or you stay quiet doesn't mean that you're not strong. You don't have to say that you're strong to display, to show it. You see what was going on between the king and Esther? Esther was smart. Did you see how Esther is able to control the situation with soft power? Being submissive. Because then the king does not feel threatened. Men feel threatened. They feel like you're challenging their power. Once we feel threatened, it becomes an issue. I gave someone an example, and this is a true example. If my wife tells me let's say I am a king. Let's say I am a king. And my wife says to me, please, can I go to this occasion? I would like to go to this event. And I would like to go with all the guards. Can you please let me go, please? I would like to go with all the guards because there's going to be other queens. Queens from other towns are going to come to this event. And these women are going to come with their husband guards and their this and their that. Please, can I go? Now, I grew up in a culture where we have kings, and sometimes your wife, if you're the king, may go to an occasion and represent you. There are certain occasions where the king will send his wife to go and represent him. So if you understand the Hebrew culture, you may understand what I'm talking about. So if my wife goes to an event, because if she shows up there, it's like I came. She's representing me. And I was giving an example. If my wife says to me, please, can I go to this event? Can you please let me go and represent you? If she asks, I will most likely say, you know what? All right, go. That's fine, go. But if she goes behind my back and goes to that event without me knowing, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be angry. So whether you like it or not, there's a spirit that the men have, spirit of rulership, spirit of leadership. That's why it says, the Messiah says to Eve in Genesis 3:16, Genesis 3:16, that your desire will be to control your husband, but he will rule over you. So your husband or a man was meant to rule over you. When you go to Africa, in some areas in Africa and Middle East, this is not an issue. This is not an issue. It's an issue in Western countries. And of course, you know why it's an issue, because they hate Yah's law. So the point I'm trying to make is this. When men don't feel threatened, when they don't feel threatened, they will let you do stuff. And you see this playing out with Esther and the king. Esther could literally do whatever she wants. She was smart. How did she win the heart of the king? By being submissive, humbling herself. It's not that she couldn't open her mouth and talk whenever she wants to talk, but she would say something like, if I may speak. So women who are smart, intelligent, wise, that's what they do. They humble themselves. And men will not feel threatened, and they won't feel threatened. And this is what Satan have taught women not to do. He taught you to present yourself that you're strong, you're powerful, you don't need a man, you can be by yourself, you can do things by yourself. These things are lies. It's not true. And you know that. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't know that. So, if you look at the whole situation, you see that what you have is stress that you may not have to go through. I want you to imagine, please, everyone, imagine that we live in a village. Considering the situation that we're in right now, and we live in a village, do you think you will not need brothers to protect you? Because if you don't live with a man, if you don't have a man, then you become prey. You become vulnerable. You will be vulnerable. You need people to protect you. The Most High is not going to come down from heaven to protect you. He already wanted you to rely on a man. There I go again. Rely. It's like I punch you on the stomach again. Rely. What? I'm not supposed to rely on anyone. I'm supposed to be independent. That's what you're thinking. But these are lies. They're not based on reality. When you get into the real world is not merciful. So the Most High already established a system where the men are supposed to protect you and help you, but they're not going to do that when you are demonstrating that you don't need them. Would you do that for anybody when they are demonstrating? I say demonstrate. When you are doing things that show that you don't need anybody. When you're so arrogant and so proud that you won't even open your mouth that you say to say that you need help. The woman that wanted me to take care of her son or to raise her son, she wasn't shy. She wasn't, ashamed to show that she needs help with raising that boy. The woman that wanted me to follow her to the mechanic, she wasn't shy or ashamed. Do you know what those two women have in common? They grew up in Africa. If they were born and raised in America, they will most likely not do that. Most likely not. Those two women had something in common. They both grew up in Africa. So for those of you that will learn something from this, it will benefit you. It will benefit you. A lot of men are turned off and they won't tell you. And remember what I said. Everything I'm saying here has nothing to do with romantic. No. You don't have to be romantic with somebody before they can help you. So to say that you don't need a man, that's a lie. Now, you may be able to get around in America or Europe. In Africa, you may not. You may be vulnerable. Just like you are in America or in Europe. Because when you go to fix your car, they rip you off and you won't even know. They will rip you off without you even knowing that they're ripping you off. So you're still vulnerable, even in America. So these are things that these are the consequences. So the major thing for those of you who are asking, so I want to do the right thing. What am I doing wrong? And what do I need to do right? Number one thing, avoid arguing with men by all means. Avoid arguing with a man. Avoid it. I gave you an example. When that so-called police officer came up, if I was arguing with him, that would not have ended very well. I would have ended up paying more than $200 in traffic ticket. But you could say that I was submissive. I humbled myself. And you saw the reward. And I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor for that. This is very important. Extremely important. Unfortunately, a lot of men will not speak about this. They will just ignore you. They will just They don't want to deal with you. And the help that you could get, you will not get it. Because they simply do not want to deal with you. You are like a toxic, a toxic to them. Avoid arguing with men, even when you're right and he is wrong. Keep quiet. Wait for another time to make your point. It's actually more effective. Oftentimes, if you behave like this, oftentimes you see that people will come back and they will apologize to you. Whenever you avoid argument with people, it never gets anywhere. Because they don't want to lose the argument and you don't want to lose the argument. At the end of the day, both of you are feeling very bad towards each other. But when it comes to dealing with men, avoid arguing with them. Never be ashamed to show a man that you're being submissive to him. Again, I'm not talking about anything romantic. I am not talking about anything romantic here. Never be afraid or ashamed or too egotistical, too ego. You have too much ego to show a man that you're being submissive. Never do that. I've had women who were not ashamed to show me, I'm submitting myself to you. I want to be under you. Never be ashamed to do that. Oh my goodness. See, we've gone so far into this video that at this point, all the feminists will not be watching because this is being recorded. So there's no way that someone who is being a feminist will watch to this point. So now let me go on to be giving you the juicy part of this information. If you give a man, a brother, I'm not talking about sex. If you give a brother, any brother, be like a Hebrew woman, respect every man. Respect every man. Be submissive, be humble. That's okay. You're not going to die. Let me tell you what happened when you do this. When you do this, when you give a man impression that you're being submissive, that you understand, and you don't mind him leading you, or when you do this, you know what happens? They now see it as their responsibility to help you, to lead you. They know that 99.9% of the women out there will not do this. They have no problem helping you. They have no problem helping you if they can. But when you are just like everyone else, then you're just like everyone else. You're strong, you're powerful. So never be ashamed to let a man know that you're submitting yourself to him. You see, when that woman told me to follow her to the mechanic shop, she was trying to demonstrate to me what that meant was that she can't do it by herself, that she needs help, and she is submitting herself to me, and she wants to be under my protection. Why would she want me to just go and stand there at the mechanic while she talks to them? She wants to be under my protection. She knew that my presence alone will deter those men from scamming her. Now, you can call her stupid. You can call her dumb. You can call her weak. That's up to you. But she may have ended up saving some money while you're thinking that she's stupid. So when a man knows that you are like that and you are not, you understand the order that the Most High put in place and you have no problem with that, They don't mind helping you. So never be ashamed. Never, ever, ever, ever be. You see, people love, especially women, love to talk about Deborah. Oh my goodness. Women love to talk about Deborah. How Deborah was a prophetess, how she was this, but they never talk about the part where Deborah says that she submits herself under the men of Israel. She talked about how great the men of Israel are and how she submitted herself to them. When she gave that message to those men to go and do what the Most High told them to do, they said that they won't go unless she goes with them. They said that they will not go unless if she goes with them. What did she say? She didn't want to go. She did not want to go. So even Deborah herself says that she submits herself unto the men of Israel. So you have to go a different direction. All this direction that people have been going, women have been going, it's not been working out. These women are lonely by themselves, miserable, and oftentimes in a situation where a brother might help you, he will not. He won't help you. I just listed to you the ways I was trying to help that person. But still, that spirit, American woman feminist spirit, was so strong. They keep arguing with me. They will shout. They will argue. They will talk back. They will interrupt. Because to them, the idea of me yelling at them, or me telling them what to do, or me, that idea, hell no. I'm not going to let him tell me what to do. I'm not going to let him. That's the attitude. And that may make you feel good, but you may not realize the other consequences, long-term consequences. This is very important. And so the things that you want to avoid is the most obvious. Arguing with men, avoid it. And never be ashamed to show your submission or your royalty. Never be ashamed to do that, because when you do that, you are saying to someone, I need your help. I can't do this. That's really what you're saying. They are most likely to help you from the bottom of their heart, because you're admitting that you can do it. You need their help. But when you have the mentality that I don't need a man, I don't need this, why would they help you? Why will I help you? Why would I? No, you are strong. You're powerful. Get away from me. Go do your own thing. And that's the scam that Satan have made you to think this way, and you end up suffering. You end up going through things. So in cases where a brother might be able to help you, or someone might be able to help you, they won't. That's the price. Does it really worth it? Does your ego worth that? It's not worth it. Maintaining your ego, which is fake. You're meant to be submissive anyways. Never be ashamed. And if you have little children, teach them. Teach your daughter never to be ashamed. Never to to submit herself. Because I tell you right now, if she marries a righteous man and she becomes rebellious, she's going to get company. I'm telling you, she will eventually get company. Like another sister. That's what I mean. So that's one of the problems with this thing. So you have to understand that this, it's a big deal. Be humble. Understand who you are. You're a Hebrew woman. They say that the word is enough for the wise. I could sit here for the next 10 hours. Those that will understand have already understood. Those that will not understand, I could go for the next 20 hours. It doesn't matter. And they will see this as an attack. You need to understand that we are living at a time that everything is upside down. And the will of the Gentiles are being done. It is not the will of the Most High for a woman to look at in Saudi Arabia. You have a system that they had there where a woman is under a man. You look at the book of Numbers, you see something similar. A woman is under her father's authority. She gets married, she's under her husband's authority. The real purpose of a woman in this world is to serve the man while the man is serving the Most High, to do those duties you see in Titus chapter 2. Guarding the house, cooking, cleaning, getting pregnant and having those babies and taking care of them, while he himself is serving the Most High, like you see in Proverbs 31. Her husband is able to go out and judge and work for the Most High, not worrying about what the kids are going to eat and whether their food was prepared and whether the clothes was washed, whether the bed was made, whether the toilet was cleaned. He doesn't have to worry about all that. So what did Satan did? Satan came and lied to us and lied to our women and get you away from serving your man to now serving his children. Because you stop working in the house, you still go get a job and serve a white man. And the consequences is the whole family will be having health issues because now you're not eating right. You're going to be eating a lot more junk food because you don't have time to cook all the time. The kids don't have their mother and their father to be there all the time. The father doesn't have to be there all the time because he's out working, but the mother has to be there all the time. But that's no longer the case now. So there are consequences to this. Like as I said before, as a woman, you must submit yourself. You must serve a man. The question is who? Who? That's the question. Those that have chosen to go to school and get a career and work outside the home, they've chosen to serve their enemy. Those that chose to work in the house, bear children, raise them, take care of them, stay in the house, work from home, they have chosen to serve. They have chosen to serve the right man they're supposed to. That's why it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 5, or verse 8 and 9, 1 Corinthians 11, 8 and 9, it says that a woman was made for the man and not man for the woman. The Most High did you see that? One of them was created for the other one. Why will he say that? One of those two people, man and woman, one was made for the other. They were not made for each other. They were not made equal. A man was not created for the woman, but the woman was created for the man. And that's the truth. And there's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with this. It's not a big deal. Just accept it for what it is and teach your children accordingly. And if your daughter is behaving accordingly, her husband will never be interested in marrying another person. Where is he going to find a righteous woman? It's hard to find. Finding a righteous woman is very difficult. So he's not going to be in too much of a hurry like Abraham. So I thank our Heavenly Father for everything. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. And I hope that those who are interested in this will get one or two things and work on your attitude. Even as men, we have to have good attitude as men, but most importantly on women, because your beauty is your attitude. As a woman, your beauty is your attitude is your beauty. Not your body, not your flesh, not your body. Now, Satan have deceived us to think our body is our beauty, a woman's beauty. No. A woman's beauty is her behavior. Because a righteous man knows that your lips are going to get wrinkled. Your face will wrinkle. And that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. You're going to get old. That's fine. A righteous man knows that. A righteous man doesn't care about your physical looks. He cares about your behavior. Your behavior is your beauty. If you have a bad behavior, it turns people off. But things have been turned upside down today. So today people focus on physical beauty, physical aspect. 2 years, 3 years, 2 months, the whole marriage will collapse. Because you did not focus on the real beauty, which is the behavior of the woman. Very important. And as a woman, you have to maintain that beauty by having good attitude. Answering to a man will not kill you. Letting a man tell you what to do will not kill you. A man yelling at you doesn't mean that he's oppressing you. I know that's what the Europeans have told you. A man yelling at you doesn't mean he's oppressing you. Now, if he starts laying his hands on you, that's a different thing. But a man yelling at you or being upset at you or angry at you, what do they call that? He's being verbally abusive. You do know that according to the Europeans, you know that Yeshua was verbally abusive, right? Christ will be verbally abusive, according to them. Our Heavenly Father will be verbally abusive, according to the Europeans. So a man yelling at you doesn't mean that he hates you. Christ yelled at people. A man being upset and being angry and yelling at you doesn't mean that he's oppressing you. Now, you can buy the lies of Satan and believe that and, take an issue with that. And then take something that is not a big deal and turn it into a huge big deal. How dare he talk to me like that? How dare he yell at me? How dare he tell me what to do? How dare he this? I can let him do that. I can't. Oh my goodness. Please don't do that if you're a righteous woman. Be wise. Act like Esther. Be wise. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It means that you're in control. You know exactly what you're doing. Use soft power. Humble yourself. You're not going to die. That's your place. I thank our Heavenly Father for everything. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. For those, focus on your children too. Raise these kids so they can understand this. So that your daughter will not end up suffering. I keep talking about the girls. They are the ones that, because the boys will go off and marry another woman. And your daughter is going to get stuck. She can't just go off and marry any other man. Teach your daughters very well. Teach them to understand this. Teach them to submit to their husband. Teach them that it's their job to submit to him, to follow him. Yeah, follow him. If you think that he is good enough to be her husband, then you shouldn't see anything wrong with her following him. He has the authority over her now. Whatever he says, she should do. Teach her this way. Your daughters, teach her this way. Otherwise, the end will not be very good. She needs to understand that we're not supposed to do what the Europeans are doing. We're supposed to do things differently. And she's going to stay married. All her friends are going to get married and it will all collapse. Because things are going to get worse. Oh yeah, it's going to get worse. So I thank our Heavenly Father for everything. I give the Most High all the glory and all the honor. As always, for those that do have question and have any question relating to this or relating to any other topic, you're more than welcome to contact. You're more than welcome to call me. You're more than welcome. I'll be more than happy to talk to any woman that wants more information about this. I will be more than happy to talk to you. You don't have to accept this. If you wanna, if you whatever you wanna do, go do. This is for those who want to be righteous, so that you'll be able to benefit from all the benefits that's behind being submissive. When we submit to the Most High, do we not benefit? When we submit to the Most High, He protects us. He said that He will make our enemy to turn their backs on us. He protects us. He provides for us. Only when we are submissive, right? When we are not submissive, what does He do? He tosses us out. When our enemy is fighting us, what does He? He doesn't say anything. When our enemies are oppressing us, He doesn't say anything. Do you understand it? This is very clear. It's the same concept. When we submit to the Most High, He cherishes us, He provides, He protects. What do? We submit ourselves to Him 100%. We do His word. We don't sit and argue with the Most High. He says, do this, we do it. That's the way it should be. If you're young and you have a husband, he says, sit, sit. Don't ask him, why should I sit? Why do I have to sit? Why can't I sit over there? No, don't do that. He's going to hate you. He will hate you. And before you know it, he's going to have another woman in the house as a wife. Be smart. Oh, no, don't be smart. No, actually, seriously, don't be smart. Don't be intelligent. Be wise. Because wisdom only comes from keeping the law. Psalm 111. Be wise. Don't do what other people are doing because it's not working out for them. More than 50% of the marriage in America ends in divorce. That's not a working system. More than 50% of the marriage ends in divorce. That system is not working. Don't walk in that path. You end up just like them. Submit yourself to your husband. Humble yourself down. Serve him. Take orders from him. Let him lead you. As long as he's following the law, everything will be okay. Oh my goodness. All praises to our Heavenly Father. I thank you the Most High for everything, who opened our eyes to understand this. Even if you don't have a husband, still have a good attitude. Like as I said, there's going to be moments, maybe you want to move or something. Maybe you want to move to a different place. For those of you that want to move. If you have a humble spirit, you're submissive, a brother or something, maybe he can help you. He doesn't mind, he may not mind helping you. There's a brother over here who is talking about, helping the sisters or something. He's been talking about it. If you have a bad attitude, like that brother asked me about a sister that used to join us. There was a sister that used to join us over here. And that brother was asking me about that woman, that sister. If I could, what do I think? I was like, I can't swear for her. Like I can't tell you what, if you deal with her, whatever you get, you get. Okay, I'm not going to tell you, oh yeah, she's a good woman. No, because I know. See, that's the consequence. And that's the same person I was talking about before. So now you have, okay, it looks like my thing came back on. I have said this many times, and this is true. Whatever you see the Europeans, whatever they agree with, whatever they promote, there's something wrong with that. So if you see the Europeans start speaking against something, go and do your research. Look into it. The Most High probably is for that thing. Look how they hate polygamy. So whatever the Most High wants us to do, they hate that thing. And they come up with ways to get you to go against something that the Most High wants us to do. When the Most High doesn't want us to do something, they come up with ways to get you to do that thing. So that's why we have what we have today. giving women the impression and making them to be very proud, arrogant. They're telling you that you're strong, you don't need a man, you're this, you're that. And our people are believing these lies. We're believing these lies. It's really, really bad. Very bad. So, what I was saying before, um, what I was saying before our Skype got disconnected was that there was a brother that asked me a question about a sister. I think he wanted to do something. He wanted to actually it was a question of them moving to Africa. Okay? It was a question of them moving to Africa. And he asked me, he has a house in Africa. I think he said that the house was empty actually. The house is actually empty or something like that, but he has a house. So he asked me, what do I think about this sister? And this is the same sister I was telling you about. So he said, what do I think about her? Can I vouch for her? Was basically what he was asking me. Now, knowing her, I can't. Because the things that she was doing, that was an issue. She's going to go on and do the same thing to him. And then he's going to turn around and blame me. The only reason why I helped her was because you told me it was okay. I spent all this money. I let them stay in my house. Now she won't move out. Now she won't do this. Now he's going to blame me. No, I'm not going to vouch for her. I saw an unrepented rebellious woman who did not want to repent. Humble yourself. Be submissive. It's not too much. Did you see what she lost? Potentially of someone that was going to help her move and probably provide a place for her to stay, that she lost because I will not lie and vouch for someone that I know to be rebellious. I knew that those things that she was doing, that I keep telling her to stop, she's going to go on and do the same thing to this man. And then the man is going to turn around and blame me. No, I'm not going to vouch for you. If you want to help her, go help her. I think if I remember correctly, I think that was what I said. I was like, if you want, like, I'm not going to stop you from doing whatever you want to do. You're an adult. See, that's the consequences. That is the consequences. This is real. I don't know why we're doing this right now. I don't know who this is for. But I hope it's for a humble person that would genuinely humble themselves and not pretend as if you're being submissive and humble. Because eventually your submission will be exposed. Your fakeness will be exposed. Humble yourself. You're not going to die. You're not going to lose anything. It's okay. Humble yourself. This is a very good example, and I'm glad I remembered this. Because the same person I was talking about, someone else asked me about them. Somebody wanted to help them or something like that. And the person was basically asking me something like, what do I think or something? I'm like, I can't vouch for her. No, because I've known her to be rebellious. And I've known her to not wanting to change. I have known her to be a typical rebellious American woman. A typical loudmouth rebellious American woman, even though she's claiming to keep the law. So I can vouch for her. Maybe if I had said, you know what? Wow, she's a very humble sister. She's very humble. Maybe the man could have helped her to move. If I remember correctly, I think he was even thinking of paying for their plane ticket. Now, you may have issue with me by saying, wow, why didn't you tell him that everything is fine? No, I'm not going to do that because eventually he is going to discover certain things. He will discover that she is faking it. She is faking keeping the law. She doesn't want to be humble, be submissive. What she does most is arguing. Always like arguing, exchanging words, like talking over you, arguing. And I keep telling her that was the main thing. Now she's lost all this. So this is real. This is real. And you may think, well, I don't need anybody right now. I'm fine right now. I don't need anybody, blah, 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 blah. But you might in the future. You might. You see, oh my goodness. It's very important to, whatever men of Israel you deal with, humble yourself. Be like Deborah. What did she say? That she submit herself under the men of Israel. Because it may not be that man that you ran into in the store, that you were nice to, you were humble to. It may not be him. It may be someone else that may want to help you, but they don't know you. But then they will ask that man that you ran into in the store. And that man will say, wow, yeah, she's good. She's a very humble woman. I don't see any problem with her. So you don't only be like, oh, I'm only going to submit to men that I know. No. You be humble and submissive to everybody. There is benefits. Please. That's the point. There are benefits. Like when I dealt with that police officer. There are benefits to being humble. You're not going to die. I did not lose my penis when I did that to him. When I was very polite, humble, polite, turn off the car. No, I didn't. But I saved more than $250. Now, when you saw me doing that, being all polite, you would think, man, damn, he's so weak. I would have cussed him out. If it was me, I would have cussed him out. You're weak. How come you don't say anything to him? Yeah, you cuss him out and he writes you a bunch of tickets and you pay it. And you've won, right? Because you cussed him out. But you lost all this money. Oh my goodness. Be wise. Be wise. It's not just to the only man you think you're going to get something from. Be wise and humble and submissive to all men as a woman, because you never know who will be your reference. It was a man that called me and was asking me, this is what I'm intending towards this sister, but I wanted to talk to you first. I wanted to hear from you first. I was honest. I was like, look, I can't vouch for her. I don't want a situation where you will come back in the future and blame me. That's what I said. If she was a humble, submissive woman, I would have said to that brother, yeah, I can tell you she's submissive. Go ahead and help her. Because he doesn't want a woman that will be, he doesn't want any drama. This is real. This actually happened. And that's the consequences. And I hope that you will learn from this. Not just women, but men too. Just because somebody is cussing you out and you keep quiet, just because you keep quiet doesn't mean you're not smart. It doesn't mean you don't know what to say. Use wisdom. There's time for everything. Be polite. Smile, be polite. You know exactly what you're doing. You know that that person is your enemy. You know that they belong to Satan. You know that. It doesn't mean that you're being weak. You're simply using wisdom. Majority of the people have no idea what they're doing. Majority of our people have no idea who they are. Majority of the enemies, our enemies, have no idea who they are. They don't know what they're doing. Cursing them out will not make any difference. They have no idea what you're saying because they are spiritually dead. So please, I am pushing something that is so unconventional, something that is so against, people are so against it today, and you're paying a huge price for not understanding this. Humble yourself, you will not die. Submit yourself, you will not die. It doesn't make you a less of a human being if you submit yourself to a man. Humble yourself. You never know who is going to help you. You never know who is going to be of a reference. You never know. Oh my goodness, this is so important. All praises to our Heavenly Father. I give the Most High all the glory. I thank the Most High for making us to understand these things. And like as I said, if you do have any question, you are more than welcome to contact, call, email, whatever. If you do have any question, for those that do have any question about this, you're more than welcome to contact me. And I pray and wish that you will look at all the scriptures that we mentioned and read them. The book of Esther, see Esther in action. The book of Ruth, see her in action. Read these places. All praises to our Heavenly Father. Never be ashamed to submit yourself under a man. Never be ashamed to humble yourself under a man. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. All praises to our Heavenly Father.